working on my posture.
We have a challenge that says, Ashton did such a good job explaining dial-up internet. But there was so much before that. I think Ashton needs to explain floppy disks. Okay, do you...
Are they discs but floppy?
I was going to say, what
fair.
physical media are you familiar with?
I know Raspberries did computer.
What about, like...
Blackberry.
What about, like, Blu-rays or DVDs?
Blu-rays did movie.
What about...
Blu-ray, DVD movie.
What about compact discs? Or CDs?
Yeah, they did Oh, they did music.
They did both.
And also AOL. The internet would come on them.
I'm doing some investigation here to see how far back we have to go.
Sorry,
what about
yes.
what about cassette tapes?
I know what a cassette tape.
Awesome, perfect.
About 8-track.
Betamax.
Is there 8 songs on it?
No.
Maybe I should have started with.
Made sense, though.
Maybe I should have started with. Are you familiar with floppy disks? 'Cause that'll be real easy then.
I have a question.
No? Okay. So
Do you know what the icon for the save
yes,
option
that I was
on
going
a
to say.
computer
like
means?
this.
That little weird looking
With
icon
the arrow?
thing. Yeah.
And the thing?
It's not- I
No.
don't think it has an arrow.
Maybe
But
I
it looks
don't
like-
know.
Sometimes it has an arrow.
I wouldn't be surprised if like Ian had a bunch of them around here or something.
Could someone
Anyway,
like mime
okay.
what it looks like?
Yeah, it's like the.
And there's a little corner. It's a square with a
Are
little
you
corner.
familiar with squares?
It's a square, but it's got a little corner cut off on one side.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there's like a little
Yeah.
place to
it's-
write things on.
So it's it was magnetic storage, so kind of like cassette tapes, but it was a flat disc.
Though,
uh,
I guess, actually, we're describing what, the 3.5s or whatever?
Yeah.
Not actual floppies. Because floppies were not, they were bigger and actual
Oh,
floppies.
I'm getting there. Well, they were
Sorry,
they were
sorry,
similarly
sorry.
similarly
I
shaped.
went too fast.
Oh no,
I
yeah.
back up.
Like,
There,
yeah,
that
like
thing.
Ashton's
Those
job
things.
is to try
Yeah.
to explain this to
Yeah.
us.
Okay, so it's roughly square shaped.
Yeah.
Inside a plastic shell is about like this thick and like this big for the smaller ones.
Yeah.
They have magnetic storage on it and like a little sliding metal piece to expose the magnetic storage when it's inside the drive. So you put it in,
Okay.
makes this little clunk sound.
There's a clunk sound.
Yeah, kind of like putting a cassette tape.
When it goes
Similar
clunk.
tactile experience.
Cool.
And then when you put it in the drive, the like metal piece slides over and exposes the magnetic disc inside, and then it can read and write to that.
Does it spin?
It does spin.
Cool.
So, I don't know if you're familiar with hard drives, but it's similar to how a magnetic hard drive. I figured, but also similar. It's a similar storage medium, like magnetic
Yeah.
platters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Over my head already.
so they had like ones that were like this size, but they also had larger ones.
Big ones.
Yeah.
Flop.
Those were like the.
They had good floppability.
Yeah, exactly. So the small ones were like harder plastic shell. The big ones had like this flexible, very easily bendable
Floppable.
plastic shell. Very floppy. You could like do this and it would be very floppy.
Oh,
which
did it
is-
make the noise?
Did it make the sound of...
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
Use
you
it
got,
as a fan.
yeah,
Yeah.
some of them did. Like
That's
if you like got the right rhythm down with the flopping.
See, I
Maybe
never
the
actually
chat
had a
There you go.
picture
So that's
of-
a hard shell one.
That's a little one.
Then that
That's
metal
the
piece
kind
slides
I
out the way,
use.
and you can see the
Okay.
circle metal piece on the
These
bottom
are
that was
those-
used to turn
those
it.
were-
So that's what it looks like on the inside. That's the like
Nice.
magnetic disc
Oh,
piece.
cool.
So that's the bigger one on the left over there. That's that would be in the floppy shell. North Americans actually call them both floppy disks, the like ones that don't flop, and the big ones. Where I grew up, the big ones were called floppies, and the smaller ones were called stiffies.
Stiff.
They were called stiffies, which I didn't like. I grew up with that nomenclature when I was very young, so that didn't click for me until much later in life.
Moving on from that, how much storage do you think was on each of these?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's
no.
a really good question.
Like 6 gigabytes.
Like what kind
6
of
gigabytes?
what kind
That's-
of things would you be able to
That's
store
your
on
answer.
this? You
Was
think
6
how much of?
gigabytes is on one of those floppies.
Like photos.
You're gonna have to think much smaller.
Smaller?
Much.
It's
What?
It's pretty wild.
Oh, so much
Really?
smaller.
It's incredibly
Oh,
wild.
like 300 300 megabytes.
The small ones actually stored. They got better at efficiency. So the small ones actually stored more than the larger ones. The larger ones were older. I think the maximum storage for the big ones was like 512 or something. Maybe somebody in chat can
Yeah,
correct me.
they're saying it was.
Yeah, kilobytes. And then
That's
the smaller ones
that's
were
right.
'Cause we
just
have
over like
billions of stuff
Yeah.
going on now.
it's like 1.5 megs for the little ones. Yeah,
Have
and
you
now you
had-
get like a little USB stick that has
64.
you get like
What would you put on
the,
it? You could put
almost
one photo.
this is way before people were storing photos digitally.
Do you
Okay.
write
Yeah.
papers in like Word? Do you have to write papers at all in Word
In like docs.
or Docs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there were 1.2
So
meg,
like one of those.
5.25 inch flops.
Just that?
Yeah, you
Did
can
not have-
only store one paper on
Wow.
that big floppy disk.
Wow.
Maybe.
Maybe.
And if
You
you,
can do a
tried
lot
to
of
load
text.
it on,
Yeah.
it would say air capacity
Yeah.
or whatever is too much for this disk to hold, and so then you'd have to either decide to like do it on 2 or 3 and split it all up.
Yeah, early PC games would come across like multiple discs, and you would like play it off of the first disc, and then you get to a certain point in the game, like insert the second disc, and then you take it out and put in the second disc and keep playing the game. Just because you can't store everything on that kind of space.
There's nothing.
But yeah, lots of tech stuff, computer programs. There was not like people could not afford large amounts of storage, and if they could, there wasn't a lot to store in it anyway, because all photos were physical because nobody was doing digital stuff yet. So yeah. I hope I explained it to your satisfaction, chat. I will mark that as complete.
I've learned so much.
Do you feel like you
All this knowledge that you will never
got
use.
that knowledge?
Yeah. Yeah.
There'll be a quiz later.
Okay.
Not for me.
No.
I cannot be bothered to write up a quiz for that.
Yeah, isn't there like a rule or a general guideline for how quickly storage doubles?
Storage doubles.
Or
I'm not familiar with a rule like that, though. I
Maybe-
wouldn't really be. I'm
Yeah,
not.
there's something about
I think it was the size
Are you
of capacitors or
Maybe
computing
that's
power
what
or
it
something
is.
like that. I forget the name of it, but yes, that is.
Moore's law.
There-
Doubles
Moore's
every
law.
18
Moore's law
months.
is, yeah, computing power. Yeah,
Computing power. That's not storage.
it's less so now, but it was
Yeah.
like for a long time.
But stuff
Very much
like
so.
that is just wild to me because we thought we had a handle on how fast this would grow,
Yeah, not so much.
and we don't.
Yeah.
It just gets bigger.
It's crazy.
Wow, right, and then just because we're there, and then you get into AI, right? Like it's just gone from my very good friend Chris worked at IBM in Toronto when the computer took up the entire one floor.
Yeah, like tennis court size computers.
Yeah.
Like
And had what do they call those Ashtons with the paper with all the stuff punched?
punch
out?
cards, right?
Is that what they called them? Yeah, that's how the computer gave you back information, right? Was
Yeah, that was storage,
storage was on,
physical storage. Yeah.
yeah, punch
Like,
cards.
yeah. I knew
You
a
would-
few people who still
you would,
worked
like-
in those days.
Have your program as a series of punch cards, and if you dropped them, you're
It's gone.
No.
It's gone. There's
just like trying to put them back in the right order.
yeah. Wow.
Like that's well before my time. It's just like old jokes that I used to hear from people, like anachronisms kind of thing.
Yeah, totally.